This is Just Amazon for Monday, December 31st, 2018. As usual, I'm getting to this video after midnight, and Happy New Year. So it's actually January 1st, 2019. Market is closed this day, Tuesday. And apparently it was a full day session on New Year's Eve. I thought it was a shorter day, but my mistake. So when it got to be about midday, it's like, oh, there's still plenty of volume. I guess it looks like a normal day. So anyway, with what happened today, we had some pre-market that got up here in this range, kind of between the two lines we got up here, and was really contending with yesterday's high. And so it bumped above it slightly, came right back down. This looks like a great S curve, and then as the day opens, we have a nice bullish candle. It's got a nice long lower wick. This is a really textbook hammer candle. The only problem is it's at a resistance right now. Like that's where this 5-minute candle closed. Yes, it did close above yesterday's high, but after the run we've had, like we put in a low at 1307 just the other day, and now we're up here at 15.14 and 15.15 and 23 cents. It's moved over $200 in just a matter of days. It just seems like too far, too fast, especially on like the holiday season going into the end of the year. If anybody has been up, I mean, if anybody's been buying, they're up in the last couple of days. They should be taking some profits and maybe lock in something to offset. I don't know. Offset loss? No, I guess you wouldn't offset loss with gain. I don't know. Just seems like some year-end stuff is going to be like people are going to sell. People are going to do something to, especially they're going to take some loss that they bought a while back above here. Maybe they'll lock in that loss for the year, counted towards taxes this year. I don't know. But it just doesn't seem like a great buying day to me. And so the next candle actually goes a little bit higher. The next candle pulls back a little bit right into this line. And then it's like, okay, this is really this decision point. So I'm going to zoom in on our day here. So this is kind of a retest of the hammer. But right here, it's just like, I know this looks really bullish. It's almost like too good to be true. Like this really, textbook hammer. The low was bouncing off of 1500. Our line is at 1500. I love when it's to the penny, but in this case, it just felt too good to be true. And right here, I'm just thinking, this is a great place to go short on this thing, to get puts and to play this down, definitely back to 1500, maybe even a little bit lower, middle of the range here, come back into, some of this where people were selling and those people can lock in, break even or something. And what happens next is it pulls back, it does this little retest almost to the line. This retest here, I have 15, 13, 15. It's really similar to this move, 15, 13, 47, that almost made it to our 15, 14 price. And then from there, it just pulled back a little more. This was nice. Small candle, continuing to roll over. That was kind of your S curve. Oops. Another inverted hammer here. So another bearish candle that was kind of decisive. So inverted hammer, continue to pull down a little bit lower. We're into the 1490s. Should go a little bit lower. And we just kind of go sideways for a little bit. This candle is breaking down a little bit more. Nope, just going sideways. Okay. Now what's happening? We've been going sideways for 45 minutes here. We're coming up to 1500. Squeeze is forming. This could push up a little bit more bullish again. So it does. And I need to plug in my computer real soon. Okay, I got some time. The screen just got dark for me. I don't know if it does that for the video. So I guess we'll see. Anyway, we run up a little bit. This was a nice little pennant here. Continue to break out, go bullish. The squeeze is fired. We're moving up into our 15-14 price. There we go. We got a breakout, but we're 9 bars into the squeeze. We had a decent move. It started squeezing down here and waited to trigger the squeeze till this candle. And so from there, we're just going to grind it a little bit higher. We're coming up close to the high. the early morning high, and then this is a shaved top candle, so you know that's ending with some buying. And really soon after it, we've got a bearish engulfing right at the resistance from the opening high here. And again, it just seems too good to be true to be at this level so soon. We just pulled back. Now we rallied up. The rally was really quick. Like we had 4 really strong candles, and then it made a gentler slope up. And it just seems like, okay, we're right back up here. It's looking like a retest, just like this candle retest. This one broke down. What are we going to do here? We break down. And then we push right back up. It's like, oh, that's a bounce. Hey, this could keep going. But we're coming right back into the same level, like the same prices. And this is where I'd be like, okay, let's get ready to go bearish, because every time it's come up here, it's sold off. It's sold off a little bit. Let's see if it'll sell off again. Even though we're above this line, let's take this bearish. Let's get ready to move with, people taking, whatever the reason, locking in a loss if they bought earlier in the year. Most of the year it's been above this price. So from here, getting into puts, we can look at the puts prices, but it starts to trigger and go bearish, and then just kind of collapse back into this line. Now it seems like it's just jogging right in the line here. Pre-market was doing that. The open kind of bounced off of it and came right back into it. So this line actually seems, relevant, just like it was for the highs yesterday. So we've come right back into it, and that would be a good place to take some profit, but it does actually continue a little bit lower here. Looks like it's going to move to take out the low of the day. It doesn't do that. It makes a higher low. And then for the rest of the day, just kind of chops around. It does actually technically make a lower low right at the closing 5-minute candle, but then it goes right back to this line. So, after hours, we're right into it. Like I said, the market's closed tomorrow, or today, New Year's Day. So, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. But this candle, if we look back on the daily, it's a really small indecision candle. The range in this candle is not even $35. Pretty small range. And, it did have a little bit lower volume, kind of what we anticipated for a holiday, similar to slightly lower volume than Christmas Eve. Here we are, New Year's Eve. You're right at this downtrend channel too. So, we're pretty much open and closed right on it. Small body here. And I'm sorry, I'm pointing at something really small here, but there's the candle. It's really small compared to other stuff we've had recently even. Oops. Let's try that again. This size candle, 33.76. That's 40s. That one was under 30. So some of these indecision candles, or some of these really small candles, can be kind of decision points. Like this has come back into a level that was, kind of holding as a support here. Or at least we got above, some things, and then continue on up. But right now, I don't know. Maybe this will roll down. Maybe it'll break out bullish. Maybe it'll go sideways a little longer. I don't know. But I did want to take a look at the bigger picture of where we've been. So we opened the year down here. Is this the right day? 1, 2. Yeah. So the open was 1172. 1172. From where we ran to, we're not that far above 1172. We ran all the way up to 20.50 and 50 cents, and we're kind of looking like we're going to bounce, but there's still a long way to go. This really looks like a double top with a neckline retest, like kind of a funky neckline here. If you look at the closes, we're pretty much retesting the closing prices. Here's where your neckline would be like this, so like this. So I guess this indecision candle would have been, kind of in line with a slightly down slope of a neckline. But if you take kind of just a true sideways, we're really right at that point right now. So we'll see if that plays out, because that has some bigger implications of what we'll end up doing, because we should see this thing sink, definitely hitting 1300, maybe 12, maybe taking out this year's low. coming back into the 1100s, and having basically a measured move from kind of the neckline. Let's call it 1500, just for round numbers, 1500 up to like 1775 area, 1780. So it's possible we have a few 100-point drop that would put us close to 10 or 11. If this truly is a neckline, and if this is really how the next year is going to start. So if 2019 starts with a big move down, usually it's there's some tax implications, so people are either selling right at the end of the year or something to deal with that. But if the selling were to stop, that would help. But if the selling continues, look for this to move probably pretty aggressively down, because this is very clearly not a bullish time, and we don't know when it's going to stop. So we'll just wait and see when that happens. Coming back in here at the 5-minute, I wanted to go short up here, which means I would have been looking at puts, and the 1450 puts were decently priced, but you could do like 1,000. The option was around 1,000, 1,100, and so nice whole numbers there. And then let's see, this came down to a low of 1080. So even could have possibly had a setup like 11 by 10. It would have actually, the lows were 1020. This low is 1062. So 11 by 10 could have worked, especially if you're looking to short, and then just ride that to the high of this candle of 1467, and that would have coincided. Here's the calls. That would have coincided with this moving down to this level. Had it been 1 for 1, but things are always a little different with options. So it did do a nice gain. The puts, they ran up a little bit more, but they just went sideways. They're here, and again, that's just a nice signal. It's like, if this is going sideways, like, be careful, because it could easily reverse or something. So that was this, where it's just going sideways, and then it reversed, and ran all the way back up here. So then in this range, we should see some sort of double top on double bottom on the put. So we switch back over to the put. Kind of a wonky double bottom, but we do get into this lower range here. Again, these candles are really nicely priced. They're really small. You could have done, like, on this candle. What candle was this? 1225. So the range of this was $25. So at 1225, what was it doing? Oh, 1225 is the breakdown right there. There you go. And then your targets could have been like somewhere in this range, so a little bit past the 1300 candle. So going back into the puts, looking at 1300, that would have been a gain. Well, let's say you got in like 9 by 8, and where it stopped out in here. So 9 by 8, and then it rallies and almost touches. Oh, it does touch this. So let's say you're getting out right here in the middle of this candle. That would have been right here. Is that right? $125. $125 is right here. So, even if you bought it 9 and stop at 8 and weren't stopped out, this only moved up to like 13. So, a little more than 2R. The other way to counteract this, that is doing a closer strike, not necessarily at the money, but just closer. If you can get into the day's range or something, that helps. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out. So anyway, here we are. Just got some nice curves, and then kind of relative lows. This was a lower low from here, but it does kind of look like this triangle is forming here. So we'll really see if we just do some more sideways on Wednesday, but we got some more time for the markets to accommodate all kinds of stuff going on. And then down here, there weren't really great places to buy calls. Maybe in here, but again, it's similar to up here. It's like these are smaller candles at a clear resistance. These not so small and not really a clear support resistance. So harder to go bullish. Even if you've been looking to get a fill down here, I mean, why? Why would you be doing this, trading this back up for, a move of almost 15? It's just, yeah, something just doesn't seem right there. So anyway, didn't bounce off one of the lines, except right here did, but that's late enough in the day. It's like, what's it really going to do here? Yeah, this kind of looks like a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder, but it needs to break out and then retest, and then you can get in bullish here and ride that S curve up. And instead, it didn't do that. Didn't do that at all. It just got to roll over. So anyway, yeah, we will continue looking at things in a couple days. And I hope you enjoyed this video. This is just AMZN. Thanks.